Hello everyone, today I want to talk about how to plan out an account, meaning which type of characters to go for to build some account-wide synergy long term. For this I came up with like two account archetypes I guess, which I will get into in this video. And since I use these on the two accounts I actively play, I'll also plan to talk a little bit about why I play two accounts, which honestly, it's a little repetitive, so the main reason is just to have access to more characters. I'll get into more detail at the end though. For now, just know that it is not necessary. If one of these concepts is appealing to you, you could just adopt that one for your own account. First of all, I already reviewed all my accounts once, as you might know. If not, to give you a really quick idea on the progress, my main account is pretty much a day one account, which I spent around 600 bucks on, and the other one is a free-to-play account created towards the end of patch 1.3. The concepts for each one of these accounts are pretty simple. It is pretty much modeled around damage types, elemental reactions, and utility characters who synergize with them. But let's take a look at my main account as an example to kind of understand what that exactly means. As you see here, I have a lot of characters on this account who deal cryo, hydro, or pyro damage, which obviously enables team compositions involving melt, freeze, and vaporize reactions, as you saw in the footage earlier. In terms of utility characters, you obviously aim for anemo supports like Kazuha and Sucrose, who decrease resistances to these elements and also increase elemental damage or elemental reaction damage. And aside from these, a utility character like Shenhe also has excellent synergy with cryo damage. And to give you something more practical, I compiled a list of the characters in question. Different Pyro, Cryo, and Hydro DPS characters. Just pair a random main DPS with a random sub DPS and it should somewhat work. The third slot obviously goes to a utility character. The easy choice is an Anemo character, but Shenhe and Yunjin are obviously also great, just more situational. And the last slot obviously goes to your number one healer, Bennett. Honestly, just get him on every account you can get. Now, the other account is pretty much everything we are left with, which coincidentally also has quite a bit of synergy, but overall is a little weaker in my opinion. Simply because a lot of the completely broken characters like Ayaka, Zhangling, Hu Tao, you name it, fall into the other category. Here we see a lot of characters who deal geo, physical, electro, and anemo damage, which are elements who don't necessarily go for elemental reactions. Geo doesn't need any reactions, physical mostly cares about superconduct, and electro characters can be quite versatile, but characters like C6 Sarah and Beidou kind of suggest a mono electro playstyle. As for anemo, same as Geo, you don't really set up elemental reactions with your Zhao team. Here we go again with the list, a bunch of main and sub DPS, physical and electro character in the same row because of superconduct, and Geo and Anemo characters both want Geo resonance. Other than that, there isn't too much cross synergy between the first two rows, other than Zhongli of course, he kind of belongs in both, he's also good in physical teams. And in the last slot we also have some utility characters, by now we probably know what they do. And by the way, this is Hazel. Obviously, we don't know anything about him, but I have a feeling that he belongs in this role. There are obviously also some exceptions. Obviously, Raiden is a great Eula synergy, but she's also really great in the national team as kind of an elemental reaction team. Rosaria great in a physical team, but also kind of in a freeze team on the other hand. Same as Mona, obviously she's kind of part of the infamous Morgana freeze team, but she's also great with her burst skill to set up like small burst windows, like for example the Ningguang elemental skill, burst skill, elemental skill combo. And Venti is just great at grouping up enemies, whether he has the Viridescent set or he is just on a Noblesse set or Emblem set even, to deal more damage in team compositions that don't require the Viridescent set. And at last also, obviously electro characters as general aren't easy to fit in any of these concepts as a whole, so you can't go too wrong in including them into your elemental reaction playstyle as well. Alright, that covers how I plan out my accounts. It's basically elemental reactions versus mono damage type teams. I mostly try to go with this system, but sometimes I make some questionable choices. For example, Yai probably would have been better on my free-to-play account to see how she fares with C6 Zara or Raiden. Though, like I said, electro characters are kind of flexible, so getting her on my main account wasn't terrible, and in the first place, these concepts are more like guidelines. Anyway, now I'll just expand on why I play two accounts, so give some pros and cons, but tips and tricks are pretty much over at this point, so feel free to close the video if you aren't interested in that. First of all, to be completely fair, any benefit by playing two accounts can be completely offset by whaling. So if you're willing to spend enough money to get everything on a single account, including resources like resin and the battle pass in order to keep up with building all the characters you get, if you're willing to do all that, there's pretty much no point in playing multiple accounts. Anyway, to start with the pros, you obviously get twice as many Primogems, which actually gives you a decent chance to have every character available to you in the long run. You basically exchange spending money for spending time. On a single free-to-play account, that is probably an impossible goal unless you are the luckiest person alive. Aside from Primogems, you also get double of every other resource in the game to build your characters, which makes it less likely that you have to invest resin into character or weapon ascension, talents, or mora, which in conclusion results in better artifact quality by using your resin there. Next, a small one. If you need some resources quickly, you can co-op with yourself if both accounts are in the same region. And lastly, the only thing you can't achieve with whaling, you get the free-to-play perspective on the game, which honestly feels very rewarding, especially early on. Waiting can lead to feeling pretty void of any sense of achievement in the game, but honestly, at a certain point, the game slows down dramatically for free-to-play players as well. Whaling just accelerates that process. After having an over 1 year old free to play account, I can't help but feel that this experience isn't monumentally different from my $600 account, which is something people do like to claim who often like to pride themselves in their free to play status. Now the cons. First, very obvious, you don't only get twice as many resources, you also have to spend twice as much time to earn them. It is super repetitive and not in a good way. You are already familiar with all the story and exploration of this game, so playing it for the second time turns it basically into a chore. This is kind of intertwined with the second point. You also have to spend a lot of extra effort in completing actual chores, doing your commissions, events, abyss, resin, and the weekly city reputation mission thingy, whatever it's called. All of that for one or maybe two extra 5-star characters per patch. So you kind of have to decide if that is worth it for yourself. And at last, another small one, if you play two entirely different accounts, logging in and out, doing the little capture and all that can be kind of annoying. This was actually one of the reasons why I chose to keep playing my 3-month younger EU account as opposed to my patch 1.0 NA free-to-play account, which I have pretty much retired at this point. Playing on a different server, or I guess region is what they call it here, will obviously result in a way worse ping, and depending on your connection, it might be too bad to be actually playable. And you obviously also lose the ability to co-op with yourself, in case that's a factor for you. So, in conclusion, for a few more characters, it isn't really worth playing two accounts in my opinion. You don't need them all, just get the ones you like. If you have other reasons to motivate you to play multiple accounts, like friends on different regions you want to play with, or maybe even a YouTube channel to make videos, then it's definitely a different story though. I also mentioned whales earlier, but I don't really want to get into a discussion about the ethics of gacha, so I left this out for the cons here. Maybe I'll make a separate video about that if you're interested. Spoiler if you want my quick opinion. I would have liked Genshin to be a regular RPG with a box price or something, as opposed to gacha as a monetization system. Alright, we made it to the end. I hope this was somewhat interesting. Let me know if you just roll for any character you want, or if you also have some kind of plan for your account. Anyway, stay tuned for more videos. Until then, have fun and bye bye!